All right, guys. It's the event of the year. Dark Souls 2 Scholar Any Tournament. We got two runners coming up right now. It is Fujo Herrera, and I'll try my best to pronounce the name here. Jeanmartindebergerac. Probably butchered it, so I'll just call him Sean from now on. And following up.
That was good, Dennis.
Thanks. I'm doing my best here. But we don't have only one run today. We actually got two lined up and followed by two more tomorrow. So following Fujo and Sean, we have Jeff the Big Lizard and Resnap Legs, which will also be doing a 80% run. And it's not really too much to say, I guess. I have Red with me here to read the game on commentary.
That's me. I'm also in the channel, but I'm not running.
Red will also be doing runs starting next week, when we have some people moved straight to the second round because we're an uneven number of runners. We have a total of 12 runners in the tournament, and without further ado, I think we can just start the run and explain things along the way. So I'm gonna count you guys down from 3, and you can hit new game. So 3, 2, 1, and go. Good luck, guys.
Good luck, guys. Alright. So, right from the get-go, sure I forgot to start this timer, but in theory we have 2 timers on the screen. Sure I was a bit late there, but we will time the tournament in RTA no load, so loading times will be removed from the real time, because that's what we have on the leaderboards as well.
Yes, I'm just gonna move us over to the right voice channel here, so one sec. There we go. So both runners will be starting with the bandit class. There's a couple of benefits from doing that from the start. One of them is that you see we start with the bow here, and also the hand axe, which you'll use for the first boss. One downside of the bandit class, especially for if you're trying to learn this route, is that the ADP is really low. So you really have to be good at timing your dodges really late. They also selected the bonfire ascetic as the starting item here, and that will be used in the route to fight Rotten, or the Rotten if I'm specific, 4 times, as each new NG plus tier of Rotten gives a lot of souls. The point of that is that there's 2 ways you can basically proceed to the second half of the game. That is to, you have to go through the Shrine of Winter, which you either open by killing all the 4 great ones, or old souls, I guess they're called, or you can amass great ones. I mixed it perfectly on both sides there. But yeah, you can either kill all 4 of them, or you can amass 1 million soul memory, which is a interesting mechanic in this game. And the second option is what we're going for in this run to be able to proceed to Dragon Lake.
Yeah, so soul memory is just all the souls you gathered during, well, when we talk about a Shrine of Winter condition, during that new game cycle. So you don't have to have actually 1 million souls in person, but you just have to amass 1 million souls before going to the door. Which is nice, so you can actually use these 1 million souls to level up quite a bit.
So you saw Fujo pop the soul there on the door. That is going to be used to buy a bomb coming up. Sean had not picked up the soul by the cart because it's pretty wonky to pick up that item without destroying the cart. So he opted for getting the souls down in the river instead. Just have to pop those later. And what they're going to use the bomb for is basically a little, sort of call it a glitch through the wall, where you can throw a firebomb into a wall where there are barrels on the other side, and actually blow up the wall from the incorrect side, according to probably what the devs intended here. So we got pretty lucky there on the ladder.
Interesting part always, but I got through fairly well. That's nice. You can get
got
stuck there with
slightly
that when you get a lot of
interrupted.
attacks on you.
Sean got slightly interrupted, but it's fine. Sure. If you take too much damage on that ladder while sprinting up, you will unfortunately fall off. And therefore you got a bit unlucky there, couldn't get the bomb to explode the wall. So I think it's gonna opt for killing the enemy. Hopefully that gives enough souls to buy enough with a bomb. No, it doesn't. That's only 90.
Not quite.
So he might either kill some enemies here because he wants the wall exploded for later. It's fake backstab there. That's great.
And it's gonna line up fairly well here. And now he's not souls for another bomb. I'm not sure if Shaw's gonna do short drop. He will.
Yes.
Okay. So Shaw didn't do short drop.
Pretty precise drop here. Yeah,
and
unfortunately didn't get it. So it might look similar for those of you who know the Royal Wood Force skip in Dark Souls 1. Sort of the same concept. You have to land on an enemy in a specific way to sort of slide off and hit the ground without taking fall damage. But as I said, it's very precise. I tried it a little bit without having a proper lineup, obviously, but I couldn't get it. So, but yeah, as I said, Sean, I believe, found it, so he probably has a decent setup for it. But yeah, it's still difficult to do. But that actually basically broke them even again.
Yeah, rather very nice equalizer from Shaw there, eliminating early advantages. Also, one thing they will use for the last giant fight is they will dark sign out. So usually, it always happens when you dark sign, you lose your souls when you get back to your bonfire. But if you dark sign out early enough, you actually lose your souls before you get the souls of the boss. So you can dark sign out and you still have the 10k souls the last giant drops. It's a neat little trick to cheat some early souls without using a homeward bone.
Yeah, Sean technically got a homeward bone, so he could use that if he wants to. But you don't really have any souls at this point, so you might as well use the dark sign. I don't think it makes so that he doesn't have to pick up a homeward bone later, but yeah, might as well not use up resources while you don't need to.
Yeah, that's so very synchronized.
Yeah, very synchronized time.
Wow. I like it. Yeah, we have to keep in mind that Zhou forgot to start his timer at the start. So that's like 10 seconds plus on his timer. So here we get the key to the blacksmith in Majula and 2 dried bugs for later on in the run. And now we'll go to the pursuer, kill him, and get to Bastille, because in Bastille we'll get another bonfire static later in the run to get more Rottens to fight, to get more souls.
And unlike vanilla, at least with this route, you don't have to do the pursuer quick kill. Since they're heading straight for Bastille immediately, they're already just going straight past pursuer. And you kind of need the souls with the way the route is planned out, so you really want the 17,000 souls from the kill that you hardly ever get doing the quick kill. Yeah, both doing just a roll past pursuer there, and you just barely have enough time to use the ballista on him if you time the roll properly and run over there while two-handing left side, which shortens animations, and kill him with 2 uses of the ballista.
Nicely done. Also, in terms of souls, they got the Silver Serpent Ring +1 from Melancher, which gives them even more souls. And now when I get to Majula, after getting a +3 rapier at their blacksmith, we'll also kill Morland for the armor, which is another 22.5% soul increase on kills. So we get like around 40% additional souls, if not even more. I'm not even sure how these 2 items
quite
add
remember
up.
how much the +1 is. Ring.
Buying a Mason Rapier, upgrading Rapier to +3 for now. We'll get a much higher Rapier later. And the mace we get for killing Crystal Lizard later in the run for upgrade material for the rapier. Yeah, and now Molin said he has to die because his armor is just too good. And now we'll go down the pitch to the Rotten. For that we need the Silver Cat rank to survive the drops. Because we don't have Leathersmith Gilligan. Takes so long to get them. We just have to survive the drops without the letters he provides us.
And this is also a major reason why you really need a lot of souls early, because the cat ring costs a bit over 13,000 souls. But it's very much mandatory to go down here unless you want to do a riposte glitch on Molin, which is very annoying to do.
Beams here, very nice.
One fun thing in Scholar actually is that, or in Vanilla, that beam they had to land on there to reduce their fall damage, it does not respawn in Vanilla. However, in Scholar, they made a change, so you can try that multiple times if you fail and don't have to do like any slow and kind of scary drop on the way down to compromise.
Okay, Future taking the Gutter Bonfire for safety here. Not sure if Draw will do the same.
Jump here.
Oh yeah, he might try jab jump. Oh, Draw died.
Okay, yeah, he skips it. Good. Oh, Sean did not make the landing. Did he miss the beam?
Yeah, he missed the beat.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Sometimes your angle's just bad, but there is also the possibility of getting slight bit of extra momentum when you're running off, causing you to go too far. Didn't really catch what happened there, but
can still survive the drop down 2 times.
If you have full health to begin with, you might not have a completely full health. But I'm not very sure with the bandit HP here. Unlike in Dark Souls 1 and 3, these two doesn't calculate fall damage as a percentage base of your health. It's actually a static damage, so the more vigor you have, the larger drops you can survive until you hit that sort of lethal limit that's lethal regardless. So that's also why we really need a cat ring. A cat ring doesn't completely eliminate the full damage, it just lowers it by a fixed amount. It's just enough to make a lot of the drops here. Meanwhile, Fujio is making his way to fighting the Rotten for the first time here. He used a Bright Bug here, which increases your damage output by 20% as well as makes you take 20% less damage. For I think it's about 3 minutes, but I don't remember the exact number.
It's quite long.
Yeah, it's quite long.
Usually it's long enough.
Yeah, so in many cases they will use the Bright Bug quite a bit before the boss, like they did here.
Yeah, you kind of have to use it before you enter the gulch, because if you get a
follow
invasion in the first part.
Invasions don't allow you to use certain items, Bright Bugs being one of them. Another noteworthy one being Hollow Bones. So you really have to use it before you get invaded.
Yeah, and in Scholar we obviously have to...
So Fujio showing the strats for the Rotten pretty well here. You really want to cut off his cleaver arm as fast as you can. Because that's the most dangerous one and the one with the most reach. Having that off, you can really just push close to Rotten and be pretty aggressive. So a pretty good fight there from Fujio. John's making his way into the gulch now. A little too far behind.
And here Fujio already uses the first aesthetic, just because he sits at the bonfire anyways. So he already spawns Rotten 2, as we call him. The NG plus Rotten. But now he will go collect some materials first before coming back.
There is a little glitch you can do at the bonfire as well to save a little bit of time. Commonly referred to as attunement glitch, because attunement is what we normally use it for. But if you're really fast using the keyboard and mouse to do the menuing, you can actually queue up the bonfire aesthetic before you warp out, and then save a bit of the animation. But you have to be really fast. I'm not surprised they're not going for that in the race.
Yeah, you can lose your setting if you do it
Yeah,
wrong.
if you do it too
So-
late, but still commit to actually using it, you will lose the aesthetic, but the effect will not be applied.
It's quite risky for a race, so
Yeah.
probably not recommended unless you're very sure you're killing
I'm
this
going to get the
glitch.
arm off here. Yeah, just
Yeah,
barely.
nice. The
I
rotten
can
can
still-
still hit you if you're very
Yeah.
close, but
It doesn't do a lot of damage, so you probably could
Yeah.
take like 4 hits or 5 even from that stub and still survive.
alright, got him down. Nice.
Alright, Sean done with the rotten fight as well. So killing the, the rotten multiple times also means we get a lot of boss souls. Fujo used the first one there. On New Game Plus and out, rotten actually gives 2 boss souls. So you'll have a total of 6 to pop after killing him 3 more times. And that will all count towards the soul memory that they will need to open the Shrine of Winter.
So Fujo now will show us if he goes for early arts or not. I think he does not go for early red tier stone ring. It's a ring that improves your damage when you're below 20% health.
It's gonna be interesting to see if some might skip the Artisar entirely for these races. There are
I
some
believe
people probably would like to use it on,
picks
like
it up
Wellstad.
later.
Yeah,
Let's
do it
see.
after the Rallic segment. I don't know. Depends. It will
So
save
Fujo
a bit
skips
of
it
time
now.
on Rotten, at least. So see what they
Yeah,
do
you
there.
can save quite a bit of time on Rotten with Artist R, but you can also die.
It's true.
Obviously.
We'll have 3
especially-
ADP still on on Rotten fights. So
Yeah, you still have base ADP of Bandit, so the lowest iframes in game you have. Like,
yeah. So Dark Souls 2 has a substat basically called Agility that mostly scales with ADP. That determines how many iframes you get for your roll. So Bandit is the one with the lowest starting point, I think, out of all classes.
yeah, it is the lowest. Scales of ADP and attunement.
Jana actually going for the Artisar setup here, so
Yeah.
clearly intends to use it coming up here. So that's the setup. Rolling into those bombs there will set you up for Artisar by taking a Soul Spear from Najka. That's what he intends to do. And my guess is that Fujo is not going to do that unless he has a backup.
Well, he didn't even pick up Artist R, so.
No, it's actually going straight for Najka, yeah. So he might just skip Artisar all the way until you actually go to the area. Just to save that pathing.
So Nashka can be quite annoying fight, not in the sense that it kills you, that should not happen for runners of their level. Can happen, but shouldn't. But mainly how much he jumps around and wastes time for you, of actually threatening you.
Yeah.
She can stay in one place and just spam tail attacks and you have a nice little fight.
If she
Or
does
she could just
turn
jump
around,
after every attack.
if she does turn around enough for her to be sort of forward facing you, you have to kind of precisely time the dodges to avoid her swipe attacks. That's really the only dangerous thing to watch out for when doing the Artisar strats, I feel like. Because it's
a
2
really
attacks.
good tail attack here.
Yeah,
tail
that's a
attack
really
super
long
long.
attack.
Can punch it a lot of counter damage. Oh, yeah,
Well,
that's another
strat here
tail
is
attack.
basically lining yourself up really close to the root of her tail to bait out as many tail attacks as you can, because they will not hit anything on the sides of her body.
Oh, nice, that was a really good, really fast
Yeah, really
fight.
good fight. Also like 2 attacks
Jean,
or something.
in the meantime, is at Vanguard, and there we actually buy all the buffs, the GPR, the Gold Point Resin, to get some lightning damage for like every single boss fight afterwards.
Yeah, also
And we buy the Claymore.
And that's
The
only
Claymore
used
we'll
for
use
one
for the
boss.
next fight Fujo's gonna affect.
But that's only used for the what are you gonna call them? The peasants in the
Magus
congregation.
in Congregation.
And because some of the enemies there are crawling on the ground and they're really annoying to hit with, for example, the rapier. So the Claymore will come in handy, having pretty wide and low swipe attacks. we're just gonna kill this lizard coming up here.
Yeah, this is
Actually,
one of
using the
three.
right hand, I feel like it's pretty hard to hit that one when with the mace in the right hand, but he has to practice. So one of the main reasons for going to this area at all is that a lot of in Scholar a lot of upgrade resources were actually added to this area, so you can get all the way to +10 with a trip here, rather than killing the required bosses to unlock the Titanite shards, large Titanite shards, chunks from the vendors.
Yeah,
There's
makes
also a
the
bonfire aesthetic on the way, which will be needed for doing Rotten an extra time.
all these upgrade materials here really changed the route compared to vanilla.
Yeah,
Also
so
because of the DLC keys, but
yeah,
vanilla
so
would never go here ever.
Yeah, you don't get the DLC keys in this route. There is an alternative route that you can also do on Scholar that I'm not sure requires 17k, but I think it makes it a lot easier, where you can go into the first DLC. But with how the items are changed, the current record route does not do that for Scholar.
Okay, sure. Also got a decent Nashka fight. Now we have the Congregation for Fuja. Fight kind of wastes a lot of time as well.
Yeah. Shouldn't be that scary
Outside.
though, at least without Artisar. Usually they take one hit here from one of the guys when they throw the skull. Oh, did Future not buy the Claymore? Huh.
That's a very good question. Probably not. Didn't really pay attention when I was at Mango.
Yeah, it's hard to look at the menu in two screens at once. Oh, he's just using maze, alright.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, so unfortunately the maze doesn't quite groove him to get it as much, so the Claymore would have hit the two crawling there with one swing, but still okay fight. Might
It takes the
catch up a
bonfire
little
here in
bit.
case he misses lizards.
Yeah, so here's the bonfire aesthetic that we'll pick up this ladder. It's just lying on one of the bodies. That before they move on.
So it's gonna be two kind of tricky lizards here. The first one is not quite as tricky as it looks, probably, from this jump. But the hitbox is really big on this tag. Even if you don't one-shot it, like there. Stunned for a while, so it's fairly easy if you don't mess up the jump completely. The tricky lizard is the upcoming one. It's gonna be behind that door around the corner, and it runs away really fast. You don't want it to run away.
You can pretty easily bonk the walls there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
got
wrong
it.
angle.
Nice. Now it just gets a chunk there, another chunk down there, and a couple of chunks in spikes, and then you just homeward burn out.
Yeah, so the runners don't intend to actually fight Freya here. They're only picking up the remaining resources now before boiling out. Actually, Ledge cancelled that skull there, so I have to throw it again.
Now it's gonna go to Medulla, get a +10. Before going to Bastille for the last aesthetic. And killing some sentinels on the way, because why not?
So Jean is actually going for Artisar on the Congregation fighter. Let me switch.
Ballsy. I like it.
And here you might see more of the... Yeah, as I said, you usually take one hit there as you throw the skull. Luckily have just enough health to survive it. But now he has to be extra careful when attacking the rest of the enemies to not take like a little hit in between here.
That's where the Claymore shines, really.
Yeah.
Consistently two enemies at once.
Nice fight there from John. And again, he's going to pick up the remaining resources before warping back. Meanwhile, Fujo here is coming up on the next boss fight, which will be Sentinels. You have to go through the Sentinels fight just to get to a bit further into the area here, where there's another bonfire aesthetic, basically hidden in an elevator shaft. And with that, I believe they have all the aesthetics they need, yeah?
Yep. Oh, and Jean missed the second lizard. Okay, got an insane Titanite chunk jetpack.
Yeah, that looks weird. That was so low down when you actually get down. So, does he have another chunk to recover from that, or is he just gonna go plus?
He just needs 2 large shots, so he can pick up large shots in Bastille
Oh,
or
that was
go to
just large shark.
McDuff.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
They're working around. It costs
Yep.
quite a bit of time. Question is if we will get large shots first. Probably not, so it's probably gonna fight Sentinels for +5 or even +3. Instead of +10, you see Voujour having here. Makes quite quick work of those 3 Sentinels. Like, the Sentinel fight can be real annoying for casual players, because you usually end up fighting at least 2 at once. But you have just so much damage in his route at this point that you can kill each Sentinel before another one has a chance to come. Make this fight rather comfy instead. Fuji actually doing the old path in here. Through this gate. I think Draw is gonna do the other pathing with the elevator, which is slightly faster, found by Jeff, the big lizard. Just this year, in February. Oh yeah, and here we see Draw going for the large shot. Oh yeah. Usually you one-shot those guys with +5, you need 2 hits. Kinda sad.
Yeah, it's probably also gonna make the... Might have enough damage for Sentinels still, but it's gonna be slower for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Fujo is actually gonna enter the Rotten Gauntlet now, so Fujo is just gonna kill Rotten 3 times now in a row to get all the souls needed for Shrine of Winter. It doesn't do RDSR, so Draw could get some time back during the Rotten fights.
Also carries an extra risk of dying, at least with...
Yeah.
You should survive. I don't think you can survive 2 hits with the gear from some face hit. Maybe it swipes, but Rotten does quite a lot of damage, especially now that he's basically at New Game Plus. Yeah, so you see John having a bit harder time here with Sentinels due to a lot lower damage. Hopefully he's gonna be
basically he needs to punish 1 attack more for each Sentinel.
Yeah.
Not too bad, but also he will have probably read once, at least for short term.
You see, basically still has enough time to get the 2 first Sentinels before the 3rd one arrives. What you're done with his New Game Plus Rotten fight here, so we're going to use the aesthetic again, and basically now you just fight him 3 times to get all the souls you need to open the Shrine of Winter. So for the first 2 here, it's not going to use a Bright Bug because it's a very limited resource, but I think you're going to use it on the 4th one, right?
Yep, you're going to use it on 4th button.
Yeah, so the Bright Bug unfortunately does not resist through the warp, so if you bone back, it runs out. I think there was a strat before in vanilla at least that you would just run back with the Bright Bug active to use it on 2 Rottens. Don't think it's
that much time. 2 and 3, I think.
Yeah, but they don't opt to do that in Scholar, probably because you have fewer of them.
Just taking the chef popping Bastille here. Slightly different pushers. But arriving at the same spot.
Yeah.
Same interconnected level.
Fujo just finishing his 3rd run in total now. Actually going pretty well on Fujo's side after the start. There's only really
Fujo's making quick process of this game.
Town was pretty close behind as well. The lizard obviously cost him quite a bit of time. This was the first death, but that could quickly equalize with a death on Fujo's side, for example. Hopefully not a very long run back on the deaths. I'm guessing they might go for a bit extra peach bonfires to avoid otherwise very long run backs that you can get in this route.
Well, you can have terribly long runs, especially later in the game for mana and Dragon Shrine.
Yeah, if you skip,
You don't take any bonfires.
If you skip bonfires in a mana entirely, then you'll end up back before Mirror Knight. That's a punch in the gut, at least when you're doing runs on your own part.
Very likely they're gonna take at least the first mana bonfire.
Yeah.
But even then, death can be like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because of how long this area is.
Potentially you might skip the first one, grab the second one, just be closer to the fog wall, which is sort of the hard part of a mana, but see what they do here when they come that far.
So Jean, we see Jean using Artisar here. Tight setup actually only works if you have the cutscene. Poison doesn't tick during cutscenes. Other runners, like I don't think anyone in tournament, but there are runners that just use the lava in Rotten to set up Artisar as well, which can also work.
Yeah, I'm not sure any of the Scholar runners really do that. I've seen a lot of people do that in Vanilla for sure.
The poison setup is fairly comfy. Just block a shot, roll through another one, and you have it, without really losing any time on the way.
Bridger here is done with all the Rotten fights and popping the souls here before talking to Malentia. And he's just gonna buy a couple extra bright packs here, some extra life gems to survive longer, because you had very few leading up to this point.
Yeah, now the big leveling comes. So I think we're just gonna get 40 strength and dexterity. You see 47 endurance up from 14. And some ADP, just have a few wireframes.
So the agility stat kind of works in steps, so you have to reach a certain level of agility before you actually get any more iframes. So I didn't actually watch the numbers there, but I'm guessing the 8 just barely gets you one step up. Probably gives like an extra 10-15% iframes at this low ADP.
You still have less than Dark Souls 1 at least, what I remember.
You need to go fairly high, at least if you're only scaling ADP. Attunement also increases the agility slightly, but like a third or 2/3 as much as the ADP stats, so that's the most effective way to get more iframes.
And there's the Shrine of Winter. We were talking about all the way. So here we got through just because we have so many souls at this point. Now it's gonna be a long running part for Fujo. Getting to the gate, getting to the next boss. Gonna take a while.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of things you have to do in Dragon Link as well to basically Mirror Knight is behind a locked door, and you have to take a really long elevator ride to go get the key. So a lot of the running through Dragon Link will be just to reach that. Luckily there's one boss on the way, and unfortunately not the most interesting one, but it is a boss with the double Dragon Riders. But yeah, at this point they have gotten so many souls from Rotten that there's no reason to go back to Majula to get any more levels. They have as much damage as they're going to get, a lot of endurance to basically get in as many hits as they can on each opening. So everything else would just be comfort at this point.
And the only thing that isn't like incredibly high at this point is Vitality, Vigor. I never remember where it is in.
So the Vigor and Agility ADP is still pretty low, but it doesn't make you go faster.
Yeah, doesn't make you go faster. Damage does, health doesn't. So Sadly,
And
we have to live
mainly
with 18 Brigadier.
mainly the amount of health you usually get is sort of revolves around what are the RTSR setups you can go for. So there's
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
a range you want to end up in, and not just mindlessly put points into vigor.
Yeah, with 14 you have the perfect setup for the poison RTSR setup before Rotten. So you get 14 before Rotten. And then you get 18 here because of the what's it called, Guardian Dragon Ogre setup, which you actually don't do. But just realized because you brought it back before that.
Yeah, true. Also, we haven't really mentioned, so Dark Souls 2, unlike all the other Souls games, doesn't have a very consistent in-game timer. It just fluctuates a lot depending on performance and stuff like that. So bolt runners here have a timer up in the top right corner. That is the RTA no load time, and used for verifying the actual time of the run. Just the most consistent way we have to time the performance against each other's. If the frame rate drops below 60, the game will actually run slightly slower. So you do want to like get as high a performance as you can, but it's much more consistent regardless than using the in-game timer.
Yeah, sadly, console is not competitive at all.
Yeah, so
Just
console
thanks to
runners
that,
will lose
but,
quite a bit of time just because they can't have a plugin that does this for them, as well as the game runs a bit slower at times. Maybe not on the newest consoles though, or on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 when Scholar released. I think that should run fairly well at 60.
we have a boss fighting, finally.
Boom.
We're just shooting the second Dragon Rider who comes down from the tower.
And it's dead.
Just kill him here real quick. And the other one is not really a problem, you can strafe all of the attacks fairly easy. Just punch him. Yeah, push over.
Yeah.
And 9 damage shot there, it's kinda sad.
Yeah, so with the amount of damage they have, it's a very simple boss. It's pretty simple in most categories anyways, because they don't have that many attacks, and the archer almost always, I think, in any category I can think of, dies before he really does anything.
I don't think we talked about the door mechanic yet, but you have these golems left and right of the door. And they will open the door for you if you give them souls, and that is done by killing enemies near them. Then you will not get the usual drop of the souls, but instead they will be absorbed by the golems, and then they open the door. And you
the
can pass.
same mechanic here is also used to activate the elevator. So you see here Fujo will bait an enemy towards him. He unfortunately got the second enemy there. It doesn't have damage on him. There we go. And yeah, the souls will go to the golem, and that will activate the elevator. In vanilla, you just kill one of the statues there, but they don't activate in Scholar because the devs didn't want them to, I guess.
So actually going for Artisar Dragon Rider. It's already set up Artisar, so now he basically cannot allow enemies to hit him until he gets to the boss fight. Should usually
Hoping
not
the
be a problem.
Artisar is gonna close up the gap here. Would be interesting to watch it. Watch them even out their mistakes instead of stacking up more. But close race is a good race. John is still not that far behind that I feel like he can't catch up. There's still plenty of the run to go.
There's a super long elevator on Fusho's part. I wonder how far Joel's gonna be by the time it gets to the top. Might actually be in the fight already. This elevator is just lovably long. We didn't have a Fallout invasion yet, actually. It's quite interesting.
Not that I've noticed, no.
I wonder that's gonna play a role in this race as well at some point. Sadly, one main thing, I guess, that makes Scholar less attractive to speedrun would be the fall invasions, just random invasions at any point in the run. May or may not completely mess up how you path through an area. So in best case, you just don't get any.
Yeah, I don't know how likely it is that you don't get any. Could happen. There are quite a lot of spaces you can't spawn, so I wouldn't be surprised if one shows up at one point.
Actually, not taking both didn't take the bonfire before the mannequins. It's actually very spooky, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like it instead intend to. I guess in a proper run you would keep the RTSR here, but just make it a bit safer on themselves here to fill up the HP for fighting the mannequins.
And Frugal got consistent knight here. This knight is a threat for Mirror Knight, which can manipulate his AI into spamming his lightning attack. It's, as the name suggests, actually consistent, so this fight should basically always play out the same. If you don't mess up anything majorly.
Very useful fight for basically all current patch runs.
Yeah.
When that was discovered, you just have to stay close to Mirror Knight and get a certain amount of damage in between his attacks, and he will always do the lightning attacks to follow up. But you have to really manage your position throughout the fight.
And next up for Rujo would be the dreaded Amana. Now, Amana is, I guess, known in general, but especially known as speedruns, for the Amana Foggate. It is arguably one of the hardest, if not the hardest part of the run, if you do it fast at least. Because there are a lot of enemies around that will knock you out of the Foggate. If you succeed, you're probably gonna die. And it's a long run back. So, yeah, probably the hardest part and not even a boss. Kind of sad, but that's how it is.
True. It's unfortunate how quickly it spirals out of control. If you don't get the approach just right, then just stepping back and trying again is not always an option.
Some runners will go for like a safer approach and kill some enemies, like me. I think Rock is one enemy. I wonder if Fujo's gonna kill any. For now, he just has to dodge all these soul arrows coming at him. They're homing, so it will actually follow him to a certain degree.
So see, Fujo here is using the audio cues from the soul arrows approaching here to know when to strafe. You can strafe them as soon as they're close enough, but you can't just do a pathing like go wide or something and avoid them because they will home towards your body. Also putting on some of the bandit, barbarian gear, no.
Also because the creeper here.
That will give you, his gear now will give you a little bit extra poise, and I think it's just enough to manage to get hit by one of the soul arrows without getting staggered. But you shouldn't be able to take a stab and still go through the full gate.
Okay, going for a semi-safe approach, killing 2 enemies. And get through.
Very nice.
Nice.
Fujo's still on a pretty decent run. Honestly, at least regarding he has not been using RTSR and still keeping his distance from Jean there. Jean just finished Mirror Knight. The consistent fight there is not very risky with RTSR, so good use for it there. Taking a bit extra time. And Fujo will be coming up on Demon of Song here, which has some attacks that can lose you a bit of time. Most notably, for example, his torpedo or fast charge you can do immediately, as well as some full body slams that are pretty slow before you can actually do attacks. Let's see if he gets lucky here. Decent up there. First at least.
Yeah, funnily enough, you can just go to the side, as Fuji did, and no attack ability. So that's a pretty comfy spot. Other runners will just go backwards, out of reach, and go forward again for attacks.
Even his grab attack, although it looks super wide, will not hit you. You just go.
Yeah, it looks so big, but
Yeah.
the hitbox is actually kind of small. Yeah, both runners have actually done a lot of preparation runs and races the last week and weeks.
Yeah, so Fuji got a 3-cycle fight there. I don't know if you might be able to do a 2-cycle without Artisar, but preferably you want to have Artisar for that fight to be able to kill Demon of Song with one less time of him closing up and not being able to take damage.
Yeah, you can 2-cycle, but
Requires the absolutely best attacks, I guess.
okay. Short does a small little pathing. I'm not sure if he did it here actually. Sometimes there's a pathing where he avoids aggroing the one creeper that Fujo killed. A bit slow pathing, but you don't get a guy. Okay.
Oh, Fuji not choosing to use this Bright Bug here. I guess he's gonna have a longer fight against Velstad without Artisar, so I guess he opts not to use it early. Ooh, Sean got very unlucky there. So yeah, I think he sort of made the right call, just trying to get through there, hoping they would not come in fast for an attack, because backing off and trying again is still very difficult to go through.
Well, was fairly close. He was pretty far into the animation. At some point, do you get iframes?
Yeah.
Sadly, got him just before that point.
Sean's still having a bit of a hard time with some of the archers here. They have very wide hitbox and very fast attacks, so they can be pretty bothersome. Even for someone like me who's spending nearly all my DS2 time in old patch, they can still poke you when you bind and lose past them twice the running speed of these guys, so not surprising at all to get a few schmacks going through there.
Which actually going for the frontal approach for Boston. Most runners will go to the side to avoid enemies until the very end. And oh my god, Joe got a fall-on invasion on mana. That's not what you want to see.
Catches up, but yeah, you don't use.
And the safe approach is more or less impossible now because it can't stay.
Very unfortunate.
I got him again. Yeah, that's what can happen to him in the mana to the best of us, sadly.
Yeah,
let's just hope we can get through next time.
Luckily, we don't really need the souls at this point, so it's not that that ruins everything. But yeah, it's a pretty far long run back to go there again.
It's definitely one of the areas where you're like, maybe Vigor is not a dump straight after all. But yeah, can make do. Shaw definitely has the capabilities of doing so. So let's hope we can get it on this attempt.
So now that Fujio picked up the King Seal after killing Velstad, he is I'm gonna pick up RTSR on the way here, and he's gonna. The reason you need the King's Ring, sorry, is to open the King's Gates at various points around the run to proceed. And basically the main requirement for beating Dark Souls 2 at any percent is, well, naturally you have to kill Nashandra, because that will trigger the ending cutscene, but before you can kill Nashandra, you also have to kill a Throne Watcher and Throne Defender, and Nashandra also will not spawn unless you have killed Giant Lord. And unfortunately, to make it to Giant Lord, we also need the Ashen Mist, which you can get from Ancient Dragon.
And to get Ancient Dragon, you need a King's Ring to open the King's Gate.
So
that's kind of an onion approach.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps in between there that you skip in old patch, because you can just go over the King's Gates and not worry about them, which is why it's, well, one of the reasons why the 100% run on current patch and Scholar is so much longer.
Okay, next attempt at Fog Gate and gets through. Nice.
Right, taking the bonfire there. He's had enough. Understandable.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to see that area again anytime soon. One more area of homing soldiers here, and then you finally get to the end of it.
Future here switching to the Keyblade, which I don't actually remember the true name of, but let's call it the Keyblade.
Yeah, Key of the Forgotten One or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anyone remembers that name.
It's just called Keyblade.
Yeah, it's a very unique blade at any rate, so we just call it the Keyblade. But it is sort of a fairly unique weapon in these two, that it doesn't actually upgrade with anything. So that's pretty high damage out of the gate, and will complement the moveset of the rapier pretty well, having wide swipes and three different movesets.
Not everyone will use it, but I think those two both use it.
Some do use rapier for everything, while others will opt for using it, especially for Guardian Dragon, and maybe for Tron Duo. We'll see. In vanilla, you basically use it for everything after Demon Song, because rapier is only like a +4 or something at that point. But a +10 rapier is pretty strong in this game, even if they don't have the Flint Ring.
Okay, now we have another nice Dark Souls 2 over there. Future waving at us. Hi.
Hi, Fuju.
Sadly, this elevator is also not skippable. You have to take it for like a minute. It feels like, at least. Then you just run through Dragon Shrine to the Ancient Dragon to talk to him. And then you will about it. That's basically just a fetch quest.
Actually, don't need to kill Ancient Dragon to get items. Just have a quick chat and you're out of there.
Yeah, it's really just a fetch quest for those JRPG fans playing Dark Souls. And luckily in Scholar you have this nice zipline across the whole of Dragon area. So it's kind of weird addition.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to play this area, no problem.
Area, but just skip it.
And zoop. And if you actually do go faster if you auto-run while using it.
I don't think so. That would be...
You do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's not really any ziplines like that you need to take in vanilla, so I haven't really experienced the oddities of them. I guess they just treat them the same way almost as they do ladders. But you can also sprint up in this game.
It looks like Joel's gonna do Artisan Wellstad.
Yeah.
Skips the bonfire as well.
Yeah, that could be scary, but there's only really a few attacks from Wellstad you have to be especially mindful of, because they have kind of weird hitboxes, especially like his two-handed swipe attack can hit like really far behind him. Otherwise, I think these runners are pretty well versed in fighting Milsa, so I imagine he's going to be fine here. But a risky move for sure from John, and might be a good one, saving as much time as he can.
I think Jean said before the race that he will not watch the stream on the site, so he doesn't know how far ahead or maybe behind Fujo is. But well, with his Amana deaths, I guess he just assumes that Fujo is gonna be ahead of him. And I guess he's gonna go as risky as possible to maybe get the time back he lost. And then I decided that with skipping the bonfire is probably the correct move.
Probably heard that through the stream, because I only muted myself in Discord, and my Google Home just started doing something. I don't know why they always trigger on everything else but the trigger word, but that's how it works, I guess.
Okay. Fujo entering the Giant memory to fight Giant Lord. That's like their third last fight and the second last fight position of the run. Kind of weird that giants in a way that are fighting the little mobs can annoy you sometimes if they're feeling evil. In this case he got past without problems. He'll go in the corner there and buff. The wall will stop one of the giant attacks, and then you can fight between his legs. You don't really see anything in this fight.
Yeah, the camera is really wonky in this fight, because Giant Lord is so tall, and a lot of his bottom spots as well is like in the middle of his body, fairly high up, which quickly ruins the camera.
Well, I got through fairly well. Only got one annoying attack. Storms are fairly easy, so that was not a problem. And now Fujo really only has to end boss rush of Throne Duo into Nashandra.
Yeah, it's on a really good pace.
Done. So I'll set up artists out there with the Cyanide while the door opens. A bit longer than you hoped for, I guess, because usually you want to set up artists and Pride Bug at the same time. Without losing time with the opening, obviously. But not too bad overall. And Fujo taking intentional fall damage here, so he can pop a life gem at the start of the fight, so he can regen the moment he takes damage.
Yeah, because life gems, they stop working immediately as you reach full health, unlike the mushrooms, which have a fixed duration.
Or the roots, important item. Don't forget the insane roots. Tried roots.
True.
Like 1 HP per minute or something. Also abusing insane menu glitch, where you can keep sprinting without consuming stamina in certain places. And it's fairly easy to do in the Throne of Want here.
Alright, so Fujo's entering the final fight here. Don't know why I had to apply the GPR twice there. Did you somehow cancel it?
I'm sure.
And that's a classic Throne Duo right there.
Not
with
the double block. Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
An explosion from Washer. That's a good one.
Not playing neither in.
John as well here, opting to use the Keyblade on Cardin Dragon, getting a bit better fight here. Light.
This duo fight is not going well at all.
No.
There was some amazing Dark Souls 2 lock-on mechanic there.
Really
well. Damn. I got him.
That's very unfortunate for Fujo. Jean gets a slight chance at catching up, but he is quite a bit behind, so Fujo can still fairly easily take this one. But this can't happen too many times.
It should be good for.
And it's very unfortunate for him because now he doesn't have a Bright Bug anymore. the fight is gonna be a little
That's
bit
the
slower.
really annoying part of dying there. You really want to have a bright bar for the fight. What? It's doable hurt, obviously, but it's gonna be annoying. He was on a really good pace, so even with the death here, it's still a really good run in race conditions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 56 is absolutely insane. He was on like a 57 pace.
Yeah.
Now I guess it's gonna be a 59, but that's still anything under 1 hour is probably fine.
We have a fairly spacious estimate also because we have runners of many different levels entering in the tournament. But as you can tell, you can lose quite a bit of time from a few very difficult to manage deaths. So although the top runners have times around like 56 minutes, I guess.
Oh, 54 is the
54,
fast.
54.
54, I forgot the exact time. Looked up it.
Yeah, it's a high
So the
54.
world
I
record
think.
is 54:37. And then you have Fushu has a 55 PB, Shaw has a 56, I remember correctly.
So even being like on a sub 60 pace here is actually, or very close to 60 pace, is very good for a race. Especially considering he has been going for safe strats in the first half and it has been paying off, I think.
Yeah, with one of them down,
Getting RTSR there
much
nice.
easier. Looks like Water, yeah, will try to revive the Thunder. Not gonna happen.
It's actually going to fill up the health a little bit here to counteract the curse damage. You don't really want to be low RTSR against the Chandra.
I think
You can,
Suda
but you
will
have to
do
match
it in his runs.
Suda might do it,
Artisan
yeah.
Chandra. But if you didn't practice it, you probably should go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see
Chandra,
here, the curse
luckily,
is doing continuous damage.
Nashandra is fairly consistent, because you can bait out this beam attack by popping a life jump. Fairly consistently. She doesn't always do it, but most of the time. There she didn't. Cast a curse. Working splendidly. There we go. With this attack she should be almost done. Yeah. That's Nashandra done. Let's run as soon as their credits come in. So that's a sub 60 run for Fujo, it looks like.
Yep, just barely,
Yeah.
but that's a very good time for a race. So GG's to Fujo. And John is coming up here on Giant Lord. 3 remaining fights.
As you see, Fujo opting for the key on Giant Lord instead of the rapier. Well,
Yeah, especially free tracking the hits with the rapier can easily miss his legs.
a bit safe there. A nice Giant Lord down, so only
Yeah,
last was
decent
for him as
fight
well.
there.
And he's done already.
Once the fire is linked, souls will flourish anew, and all of this will play out again. It is your choice to embrace.
And I forgot to shift the audio to Sean, so let's do that. So yeah, so Jean is obviously here opting for the rapier as well for the Throne Duel fight. Now luckily has the right bug still. Yes, a first fight here is going to be a bit faster than it was for Fujo. Or very likely going to be faster than for Fujo, because Fujo got a very bad Throne Duel.
Yeah.
Even on the second attempt.
Going for the menu stamina strat as well.
Yeah, so this is a
It
little...
really doesn't save a lot of time at all.
No, it's very minimal. but if you're not too annoyed from doing this and you don't mess it up and lose time as a result, then you can extend the stamina basically the entire way down. And not have to break the auto run.
Trying to on the side here to draw them a bit out. And thanks to regeneration, I just tanked the initial hit from Fender. Really comfy
Get
here.
careful here. That's probably good. Not getting many blocks from the Fender, so that's a much better fight.
Yeah, much better.
Watcher is
fight
taking,
with his wrist.
taking that job, apparently. At least she has a smaller shield.
Alright, yeah, that's some clean fight. For at least considering she blocked all the way through, basically.
Yeah. Sean is coming up on the Chandra last fight. Still not on a too bad pace. Unfortunately, Fuju was just that bit faster.
Gets the beam. Nice. That's what to see. That's one more cycle. Success. Actually goes for the one beam Nash here. Doesn't go for a second beam attack, just strafes her. A little bit faster. Less safe, but gets it.
And that is going to be time for Sean. Yeah, very good fights for Sean in the end. So GG's for both runners. Let's move them in to get a little opinion from them on how they feel like their race went. Alright guys, you're back in the live channel. You can unmute. Alright guys, you're back in the live channel. Alright John, strong finish. Unfortunately, Fujo actually had a pretty good run. Apart from the start, not very much went wrong. How do you feel like it went, Fujo? Apart from the start, not very much how do you feel like it went, Fujo?
Yeah, it was not a very good run.
all things considering, I mean, like for a race, you're only like, what is it, 5.something minutes behind actual PB? What is it, 5?
My actual PB is a 55-16. My actual PB is a 55-16. The duo death was very unfortunate.
Yeah. And it got pretty slow fight from them after as well. I guess the main thing that held Jean back was the Amana deaths. Got a pretty rough time in Amana.
I did indeed, yeah. 2 deaths in Amana, it's gonna slow you down. Yeah, so dying at the full gate as well, the final full gate without opening it is it's very bad. It's, having to get past those arch tricks again.
Yeah. At least we're cool if you, Jean, do a lot of the RTSR fights. Fujo went for the RTSR only in the second half, but you did a lot of fights with it. Basically played exactly as you would, I guess, in a proper run.
Yeah, I mean, I learned the RTSR run. I didn't want to relearn the old run, the non-RTSR for this tournament. So
Yeah.
I thought I'd just do what I do while I'm running 80%.
Yeah, obviously a slower fight means more attacks and means more you have to deal with, so...
Anyway, congratulations, Fujo. Well done.
Yeah, congratulations,
Yeah,
Fujo.
congrats, Jean. Was a cool race.
Yeah, congrats. It was.
And if we have a short look at the brackets here, the opponent for Jean will be determined from the following races, but we have here Fujo will be going up against Luthelaril, however you pronounce that, Luth, everyone calls him, I guess, in next weekend. So stay tuned for that. And Sean's next run will be in 2 weeks when the first round of losers bracket starts up. So good luck on your next runs, guys. Anything else you would like to add before we go to a quick intermission?
Not much. I just hope the other runners didn't make fun of me for missing bomb wall.
Yeah, you both had a pretty rough start with you for missing the bomb wall, and Sean, you died to doing the drop in the elevator.
I did. It was
so
bad.
you were neck and neck at Last Giant,
really?
and for the next segment it was basically synchronized. That was cool to see, even though both failed. Classic race moments there. Classic race. So yeah, GG's both. Interesting race to watch. We'll look forward to seeing your next round. Hopefully you'll both be able to continue in the tournament. It is a double elimination, for those who do not know. So every losing party in the winners bracket will drop down to losers, where they have one more chance to redeem themselves and get back up to the winners bracket in the end. And I think with that, we are going to go into a short intermission, give the next runners some time to prepare, and we will have the next run coming up, which, give me a moment here, and it will be Jeff the Big Lizard versus Resnep's Legs. We will be back shortly. Thank you.
Go right now.